What up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Phil Risden, and we are here today because for some reason, people still care about the Kevin Hart roast situation. You know, Kevin Hart had a roast a couple weeks ago. Someone said a really bad George Floyd joke, and apparently, people have been flipping out. And now he's on The Breakfast Club addressing this whole situation. I thought this thing was dead. I thought this thing was over. I thought nobody cared anymore. But apparently, people are criticizing Kevin Hart nonstop. So he feels the need to kind of speak about this thing. So let's hear about it for a second.
Yeah, the George Floyd joke, it wasn't a tasteful joke to our culture, to our audience, but our audience.
Also, I do want to say before we get started, I like the fact that the Breakfast Club smartened up and brought back their media to YouTube. Like, bro, you guys have 6 million viewers here. Why were you going to Netflix? Like, even if it's just clips, do that. But I'll be real, as somebody who pays attention to black media, you definitely felt their presence was missed when they first left to Netflix. And I kind of predict that they'll eventually be back to YouTube because I just feel like they're going to bomb over at Netflix. Whatever money they're making through the Netflix deal, I'm sure it's big now, but at least for Netflix, I feel like that's going to be a loss. Like, there's just not going to be that many people that transfer over to shit. You get married to certain shit. You know what I mean? YouTube is where you find the hip hop media, the Breakfast Club type shit, right? Netflix is just, it's for if you're doing a special. Like if you're doing a long 2-hour interview with Kevin Hart and it's like one guy, like how David Letterman does, you do Netflix. For this, you do this.
Audience that's watching the roast, if you're watching the roast, you get why they're doing it. You get why the racial humor is on the table. Like, it's not, I wasn't shocked. Like, that's what they do. Go look at the Tom Brady one. Like, that's what they do. It happens every year when they do a roast. It's not new. This isn't it's not a new agenda. It's not a new approach to comedy.
Do you feel like Tony Hinchcliffe went too far when he made that joke about George Floyd?
It's Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yeah.
Like, I don't expect less. I don't expect more.
I feel like you're saying going too far is the point. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yes, I mean, that's why you're there. Mm-hmm. And I hate to say this, but I'm going to because we're being honest. People are talking about that joke. Talk about his set.
You know what? I got to disagree. I did not find Tony Hinchcliffe's set funny at all, really. I don't like Tony Hinchcliffe, if I'm being real. I don't think his comedy is that good. But there were a lot of funny other people there. I get what he's trying to say. A comedian's jokes are bigger than just one joke that bombs or whatever. I feel like where the real big disconnect is coming from, though, is, ironically, it's coming from Kevin Hart, is the fact that Kevin Hart is a legend that a certain population of people revere, right? It might not just be black people, right? It could be people from all different walks of life, but there is a certain group of people who watch mainstream comedy and black comedy, and they really revere Kevin Hart as a comedian. And I feel like with roasts, like, yes, people go hard, people do crazy shit or whatever, but a roast for an actual comedian who's a legend is like a very, very sacred thing. And it doesn't really happen a lot. And he's treating his roast like all the other roasts. Like, bro, this is not the roast of Charlie Sheen. This is not the roast of Tom Brady. You know why? Like, you know why they have to get comedians, a bunch of random comics who don't know these famous people to be on their roast? It's because for Tom Brady, all his friends play football. For Charlie Sheen, all his friends are actors. For anybody else, Justin Bieber, all his friends are musicians. They're not comedians. You're a comedian. All your friends are comedians. This is the one rare time where a roast is what it traditionally was when it first came out, which is a bunch of people's closest friends talking about them in a very, very intimate way, in a very, very mean and messed up way, but you celebrate their successes and their accomplishments, right? But instead, he made it just like every other roast, where it's just a bunch of random comics that are kind of cool at the time, and they're just saying a bunch of weird, fucked up jokes, And sometimes that works. Sometimes that works. I used to love some of the old roasts. Sometimes those worked, but to be a legendary comedian and to have your roast treated that way, I feel like is selling yourself short, and it's a little ironic because it is Kevin Hart. And by selling yourself short, no pun intended. But but it is funny. You would think somebody who is an actual legend would understand that. But again, I mean, he's part of the machine. This is mainstream stuff. It's all about networking. It's all going through probably like Viacom or well, actually no, it goes through Netflix. So it's all going through Netflix, right? So they have their people that they want to plug in. But it would have been nice to see a lot of people that have fucked with Kevin Hart from when he like came up, who are notable people. And he's known a lot of notable people for a very, very long time, even if they're not that close with him. You know what I mean? I would be willing to argue that Jamie Foxx is about as close to Kevin Hart as Tony Hinchcliffe. I would say maybe even a little bit closer. Even if they don't necessarily love each other, it's like, come on, man. There's a lot of people you could have had from the Def Jam era, a lot of really, really funny comics that are popping now, who have a lot of admiration for Kevin Hart, who could have still went in on him and went in on him in the perfect way that honors his legacy, but also shits on him and makes the crowd feel a little bit uncomfortable. But they didn't do that, and now it seems like the roast has in a certain way crashed and burned. I mean, I'm sure more people watched it because they heard of the controversy, but at the same time, it was just a stupid move. It was just a stupid move. That's my 2 cents, though. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. It was a quick video. I got to dip out. I'll see you guys later. Peace.